Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. We're just a few days away from the New Year's Day special Eve of the Daleks, so I thought it'd be fitting to review last year's New Year's Day special, Revolution of the Daleks. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Doctor is serving a lengthy prison sentence in space, whilst the rest of Team TARDIS, Yaz, Graham and Ryan are trying to cope with life without the Doctor. Meanwhile, Jack Robertson is back, who, alongside a very ambitious politician, has somehow acquired the casing of the Dalek last seen in Resolution. They are using this casing as a template for a new security drone defense force. However, unbeknownst to Jack, his scientific partner Leo has cloned what remained inside the casing, the reconnaissance Dalek. This cloned reconnaissance Dalek has now taken control and has grown a new race of Daleks. Now the Doctor has to escape prison, reunite with her companions, and stop this new race of Daleks from wiping out the population of Earth. So, not only does this special have to deal with the fallout from the Timeless Children storyline, but this is also a sequel of sorts to Resolution and Arachnids of the UK, plus it sees the return of Captain Jack Harkness and the departure of Graham and Ryan. This special is like me on Christmas Day, just overstuffed. So let's start with the good, and I'll start with the return of Captain Jack Harkness. It was good to see this character back on screen. It's been probably about, at the time, 10 years since he was last on our screen, and for the most part he was used quite well in this special, mainly from when he has that chat with Yaz when they all reunite. And I did like the line that Jack delivered with, "You don't get to choose when you stop being with the Doctor." It's just very reminiscent for me for when Sarah Jane Smith had that chat with Rose in School Reunion. It was just one of those, you're going to get your heart broken, but it's just worth it in the long run. It's just a shame at towards the end of this special that Jack has this audio dubbing of him going off to see Gwen and then disappearing off onto his other adventures. It was pretty much reminding me of The Simpsons, where Poochie just goes, "I have to go now. My planet needs me." But the companions do get some nice moments in this episode as well. I really liked Yaz when she shoved the Doctor, when she was like, "We was worried about you," seeing this explosion of emotion, where we saw Yaz. She's been in the other TARDIS that took them home, and she's trying to figure out how to bring the Doctor back, or she convinces herself that the Doctor wants her to bring him back. And Graham and Ryan, they're sort of like, "No, I think it's done now. That's it." I also like the scene between Ryan and the Doctor, with Ryan just basically sort of calling the Doctor out. The Doctor's having a bit of a sort of identity crisis, really, and she's trying to protect herself and sort of like just shield Ryan from it, and her other companions. And Ryan's like, "No, you don't get to do this now. We're having this chat. We're gonna thrash this one out." And the Doctor's basically saying, "I don't know who I am anymore," and Ryan's pretty much saying, "No, rubbish, you are the Doctor." So if anything, that was kind of like the highlight of whole of Ryan's tenure. Again, it's a bit like Graham and to a certain point Yaz as well. They haven't been overly utilized well in this whole era, to be fair. And it was sort of like, did the Doctor really need this pep talk to know who she is? I don't know. Some of it doesn't quite sit, but give credit where credit's due. It was nice for Ryan to have this moment with the Doctor. I have to say the main highlight is the Daleks. That's what we came for this New Year's Day special. What are the Daleks up to? And Nicholas Briggs did a really good job of having two different voices, because not only do we have one set of Daleks, but two sets of Daleks. So we have these new security drone Daleks that have cloned themselves, got themselves into the machines, and now wiping out Earth. And then the Doctor hatches this plan of sending out a signal for the real reconnaissance Daleks to come in and basically wipe them out, because they're not pure. There's sort of bits of human DNA in these Daleks. So a bit like Remembrance of the Daleks, but Remembrance of the Daleks did it a bit better. But what we did see here was really good. So, like I said, Nicholas Briggs having the two different voices, that was quite good. I really liked the voice of the security drone Daleks. I really liked that. And I really felt sorry for the original reconnaissance Dalek. Because if you sort of look at his the timeline from resolution to the final demise, so this reconnaissance Dalek goes to Earth, gets killed by humans, then gets resurrected centuries later, gets itself a new Dalek casing, as we saw in Resolution. Then it lost its casing, got into the TARDIS, but then got flung into space, so it died again. Then get cloned back in this episode, and then gets killed by the Daleks because of his impurity. Even though it tried to send the signal to the reconnaissance Dalek of like, look, I can be purified again. I did this. I tried to do this. Everything I've done, I gave my life to the Dalek cause. And just the reconnaissance, the bronze Daleks, just like, no, not having that. Exterminate. Off you go. Gone. I just like how it showed how demonic the Daleks can be, because I can imagine like if the Daleks were to be the ultimate race in the universe, they will start to turn on each other of like, well, I'm more pure than you are, or this, that, and the other, and they will just wipe each other out. That's how I sort of see the Daleks, in that just horrible fascist way that they can be. It is just a shame that we didn't get that full Dalek Civil War battle going on. Like I said, Remembrance of the Daleks did that better. Here we only just kind of got a confrontation on the bridge, and just that one security drone Dalek, the original reconnaissance Dalek, having that chat with the bronze Dalek. And this is kind of like my main bugbear for this story, is there's so much missed opportunity and so much has been left off the table. So for example, Captain Jack would have had a it was just right there that they could have had a really good chat with the doctor, maybe in prison or just as I was trying to break out of prison, because the doctor's lost memories. You know, she doesn't know what's happened uh, prior to the Timeless Children reveal. So obviously she's having a bit of an identity crisis, angry that some of her memories have been wiped, blocked, whatever. But that happened to the same with Captain Jack Harkness. You know, the Time Agency wiped out 3 years of his memory, from what I remember. So that really should have had a conversation of there. And um, if anything, again, maybe Jack could have probably would have said what Ryan was saying of like, you know, whatever you are, it doesn't matter. You are the Doctor, and the Doctor as well. They really, again, this could have been a really good, meaty, standout moment for Jodie Whittaker, but for whatever time reasons, I don't know. They just didn't do it. They did a little bit more visual with just the chalking on the wall of how many days or years she's been in prison, but they really could have gone with this, you know, and just gone to town with just her dealing with her identity crisis, being alone. You know, she's missing her companions, but we didn't really get to see that. I just felt that this story kind of focused on some of the wrong moments. So, and little minor sort of like few minutes here could have been better used for something else. So, for example, the whole sort of scenario of getting this Dalek casing into the hands of Jack Robertson. So we had this truck driver who just happened to stop by this lay-by where this woman at the cafe poisoned and drugged his coffee and managed to get the truck. I mean, you know, that was from pretty dumb luck that he decides to pull over at that particular point. So instead of having that, why couldn't we have had instead a bit more development for Leo? Because he just decided to take it upon himself to clone this Dalek. You know, maybe it would have been better if it was explained that maybe Robertson was paying him peanuts, he was treating him poorly, And Leo is going out for his own personal gains and like, oh, I can do this and make millions of dollars or pounds or whatever, but all backfired from him. The one thing I do have to say though, again, Jack Robertson was a little bit more underutilized, and there was kind of doing a bit of a wishy-washy good guy, bad guy type of thing. He didn't know about this cloning stuff with the Daleks, but yet he was straight away gonna go onto their side and think, I can control these beings, no problem. But then he ends up just getting away with it, and that was it. Nah, that's the end of that story. He kind of just got conveniently taken out the way. I don't mind the ending as such of him getting away with it scot free. I thought that was quite clever, and yeah, that would happen with the rich and powerful, but again, just not really used to its full potential. I'm a little bit in two minds regarding Graham and Ryan's departure. On the one side, I thought this was Tosin Cole's pretty much standout moments throughout this episode. I thought, again, they had little moments throughout the past two seasons with the Doctor, but I think there could have been so much more. And this felt a little bit rushed for me. Again, just due to timing. Don't get me wrong, the episode itself has good pacing, but the overall story is just very very big. With the hour and 10 minutes that they've got to fill all this time with, so it's not like it was a good departure. To be fair, it was a refreshing departure. Ryan decides to leave on his own accord. We haven't had that probably since Martha Jones, I think, really, where there's always been some kind of reason why the companion has to leave. This one is just, Ryan decides to go. Graham's is a little bit different. Graham is like, well, I can't really not miss this opportunity to be with my grandson. And I felt Bradley Walsh was very much, if as a whole for his tenure, very much underutilized. Not, again, could have been used a lot more. I mean, if you've seen Bradley Walsh in the Sarah Jane Adventures episodes or any other TV shows that he's a very talented actor, and I wouldn't even say he was used for comic relief in some sort of point. I feel like um John Bishop is kind of like Graham 2.0. From what we've seen in the 6 episodes of Doctor Who Flux, John has had a better time and and Dan has been a better character. Where sadly Graham is a bit forgettable, but not Bradley Walsh's fault. Again, they could have used so much more for him. Overall, I'm going to give Revolution of the Daleks a TARDIS rating of 6 out of 10. Now, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy this episode. I was entertained. I wouldn't say it's been like the best special or Doctor Who episode or story out there, but it's certainly not the worst out there. It has good and bad points. I think what overall would have made this a better story or a better episode is if it was done in 2 parts. I think there was just too much for me that was left off the table. We could have easily have had a Christmas Day special and a New Year's Day special and a big 2-parter, with the cliffhanger being that the Doctor is sending a signal for more Daleks, the reconnaissance Daleks, and what a sort of mind-blowing few days all the Whovians could have had, and the Doctor Who fan base could have had, like, oh my god, we're gonna have a civil war, we're gonna have a big battle with 2 Dalek factions. Amazing, we could have had all that. And we could have had standout moments, bigger standout moments for Jodie and the Doctor being imprisoned, trying to figure out how to deal with what's been going on. We could have had more time with the companions, could have had a bit more time with Captain Jack, with Jack Robertson. It just, with everything that's been going on, it needed more time. It really did. But on the whole, I did enjoy it. It is okay. It just, in heart of heart, it's just a middle of the road story because there was just, for me, too much left off the table. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to Revolution of the Daleks. Do you agree with me? Is it a bit of a middling story for you? Or do you disagree with me? Do you think this is one of your favourite episodes from the 13th Doctor era? Next time on Timey Wimey Review, it will be my spoiler talk review of Eve of the Daleks. I can't wait for that New Year's Day special. I hope you can't wait for it too. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as a good doctor once said, new can be very scary.